Hey, what's going on? Mike here with Tuner Test Drive, and this is my 1994 Toyota Supra. I've owned this car for well over 10 years now, and when I first bought it, I had no intentions of ever going beyond just basic modification. But as time went by, you start doing mod after mod, you start to get addicted to the power, and then eventually you end up where I am now, driving a bottomless money pit. It's too addicting to give up. Started simple, do a little simple intake, maybe aftermarket blow-off valve, but then it slowly began to get more and more advanced. Start by opening up the exhaust a little bit, downpipe, aftermarket catback, and then from there, it's just a slippery slope, mod after mod. So what all do I have done to this car? Well, there's a lot. First, let's run through the exterior mods. I got the full Supra starter kit, RMM style front lip, TRD rear spoiler, and weld drag pack. This combo may be played out, but there's no denying how awesome it looks on the MK4 Supra. The RMM lip is full carbon fiber from a manufacturer called Phoenix Composites, and I'm pretty sure they don't even make these types of parts anymore. The TRD spoiler is not a genuine one from Toyota. This one's from eBay that actually fits fairly well. It's definitely not perfect, but unless you know what you're looking for, you'd be hard pressed to find any actual flaws. My weld wheel setup is pretty typical. 18 by 9 in the front, 15 by 10 in the rear, with huge 275, 60, 50 Mickey Thompson radials out back. These things hook and are overkill at my current power level, but this setup just looks so right on a Supra. Added are the PHR hub-centric rings and center caps. These look so much better than the weld center caps. I have twin Z side skirt extensions on the sides to try and match the visually lower front of the car due to the RMM style lip. Tinted indicator and turn signal lights, 20% tint all around, 97/98 taillights and headlights, and one of my favorite unnecessary mods, the carbon fiber fuel tank cover. This thing is gorgeous, and it's sad that it has to stay hidden under the car. The interior is pretty simple, 98 style 3-spoke steering wheel, some gauge pod rings, TRD tack, weighted shift knob with custom Supra etching, and the best part of the interior, the custom seats. These things are amazing. These use a Sparco style back with OEM bottoms. Both are wrapped in the same leather to look like how the Supra should have came from the factory. With this setup, you retain all the OEM adjustability, but gain much needed bolstering on the sides. The OEM seats just do not hold you in very tight, and you slide all over the place. Oh, and don't forget the early 2000s head unit with upgraded sound system. And an iPod Nano. Yes, it's outdated, but I usually have the 2JZ mixtape on full blast, so who cares? Now the fun stuff. I'm running a Precision 6766 journal bearing turbo with an undivided exhaust housing and a T51R modded compressor cover. Feeding the turbo is a Boost Logic tubular manifold with dual Tau 44mm MVR wastegates dumped to the atmosphere. Compressed air is fed through the ETS 4-inch intercooler, and the pressure is relieved by an old school HKS super sequential blow valve mounted right below the driver's side turn signal. Exhaust is sent through a 4-inch downpipe to a 4-inch midpipe, and finally pollutes the atmosphere by exiting the Tomei X-Prime full titanium exhaust. This exhaust is one of the best looking options for the Mark IV Supra and is unbelievably light. Fuel system consists of ID 1300cc injectors, PHR fuel rail with dual -6 AN feed and a single -6 return. All lines are PTFE and rated for E85. Feeding the rail is a PHR fuel pump hanger with dual Bosch 044 pumps and dual inline Goodrich fuel filters. The engine is the OEM non-VVTi 2JZ GTE. The head is fully built with GSC S2 camshafts, GSC titanium valve springs and retainers, and shimless and DLC coated buckets. All driven by a welded crank gear, Gates timing belt, and PHR cam gears. Crankcase pressure is relieved by the custom baffled catch can setup. Various other aftermarket accessories litter the engine bay in hopes to accentuate the already beautiful 2JZ engine. Oversized 5-inch intake with Blitz stainless steel filter, PHR radiator and radiator plate, PHR water neck rotation kit, carbon fiber fan shroud and front plate, gas hood struts as well to eliminate the need for the unsightly hood prop and make for popping the hood so much easier. PHR strut tower covers conceal the HKS Hypermax 4 coilover suspension underneath. Power is transmitted from the engine to the transmission via an RPS carbon-carbon twin disc clutch. Transmission remains the OEM V160. And power is fed to the rear wheels by the OEM 220mm diff and rear axles. Now I really need to get an aftermarket diff installed at some point. Now depending on the fuel and boost range, this setup can put down 550 to 750 rear wheel horsepower. All in all, a fairly straightforward and simple setup in the Supra world. I'm not really sure where else I want to go with this thing, so either it will stay where it is or I'll bite the bullet and build the bottom end for the stereotypical 1000 horsepower build. So just remember, after you drop $100,000 on a stock version of this car, you'll likely never be truly happy with the car in that stock form. Because let's face it, it wasn't videos of the stock car that really made you want to buy this car, it was the endless videos of these modified ones racing and shooting fireballs out the exhaust. So keep this in mind and realize that you'll always be tempted to dump endless amount of money into this car and never truly be satisfied.